Located on the outskirts of Arezzo, the Gori and Zucchi factory is the largest single consumer of gold in all the world. Some 60 tons a year, more than the entire jewelry industries of Britain, France, and Switzerland combined. The firm designed and built its own automatic machines that churn out gold chain by the mile. Looking like a sorcerer's magic brew, a process developed by Hanovia Liquid Gold in New Jersey enables gold to be used in minute amounts in electronics and in various forms of packaging. For only a few pennies per unit, liquid gold, a solution of gold chloride and oil, decorates cosmetic bottles and other disposable containers. Most of us, without knowing it, have bought and thrown away real gold. One characteristic that sets gold apart from all other metals is its malleability. It can be pounded, stretched, and drawn again and again and still retain its qualities. In the making of gold leaf, a 14.5-ounce bar is transformed into a shimmering ribbon over 100 feet long. But that's merely the beginning of an ancient process still employed at a factory near Paris. Cut into small squares and packed between layers of sheepskin, the gold is pounded by hand for 5 hours. The hammers weigh nearly 8 pounds. That one small bar of gold will become thin enough to cover about 1,500 square feet. So thin that a mere breath positions it for packaging. Each leaf 1,000 times thinner than a sheet of paper. Perhaps the most unusual use of gold leaf has been created at a restaurant, Au Petit Montmorency in Paris. A chocolate and meringue cake covered with 24-karat gold, served with pistachio ice cream and a thick brandy sauce for 30 francs a portion, about $7. The gold adds nothing to taste or nutrition, but it's harmless, looks nice, and has no calories. Because it cannot oxidize and evenly diffuses heat, pure gold would make excellent cooking ware. Engelhard Industries made a solid gold frying pan to be tested in her Massachusetts home by television's French chef Julia Child. Worth about $18,000, the 6-pound pan was returned to Engelhard for resmelting immediately after filming.
It's a two-hander. I'm making a supreme de volaille poil d'or en piperade, or chicken breasts sautéed in a golden pan with a pepper sauce, a green pepper sauce. I think this pan cooks very nicely. It's awfully heavy though. I'm trying to lift it with one hand, but it cooks well. They cook very, very quickly. I'm now going to put the paper hard back on and putting just a little bit of dry white strips removed. Let it flame. That's just about done. Doesn't that look nice?
In the shape of the legendary Phoenix, a 22-carat bathtub weighing 313 pounds is probably the world's heaviest single gold object. It's valued at over $1.5 million. The tub attracts visitors from all over Japan to the Funabara Hotel on the Izu Peninsula. A 5-minute dip costs $15, but it's claimed that every minute spent in the tub adds a year to one's life. Along New York's Fifth Avenue and other posh boulevards around the world, shops with famous names set the pace for the jewelry business, which consumes 2/3 of current gold production. In the world of high fashion, there's little call for mass-produced items. Both Cartier and Tiffany feature exclusive designs created in their own workshops. They exude an aura of luxury, appealing to those whose wealth matches a need for self-adornment.
You can try it on, it's very nice. Yeah.
Well, this is a 22-carat mesh scarf that Elsa Freddie designed for her collection.
Can we take this off?
Oh, of course. It's beautiful. This is the biggest selling point, is the handling of the piece.
It's just shimmering and lovely. Really super.
It almost feels like a fabric, doesn't it?
How much does it cost?
This is $2,500.
Gold, gold, nothing like gold, nothing as good as gold, nothing as good as gold.
By centuries-old tradition, London has been the center of international gold trade. More gold may now pass through rival Zurich, but there remains about London an unmistakably British aura that seems to say, we were here first. Twice daily, representatives of the 5 banking concerns that comprise the London gold market conduct a ritual affecting investors, speculators, and governments around the world. By direct line to their company's trading rooms, they try to fix a price by matching up orders to buy or sell.
Matty wants 30.
Matty wants 30.
New electronic developments make possible direct and instantaneous communication with customers and traders around the world. If more gold is offered for sale than buyers want, the price goes down. The reverse, and the price goes up.
Have you got 3 strand tunics there? Yeah, try.
Mag hem 70 of zo.
Actual trading in gold goes on around the clock. A composite day begins in the boisterous exchange in Hong Kong. Following the sun, it will continue in Europe and end in the United States. With recent emergence of Hong Kong as a major center, the sun never sets on trading in gold.
Rothschild's 155.
Rothschild's 155. Montague's offer 120.
Montague offer 120. The market therefore goes
Nene roba. Sirta latte. What's going on in gold and silver now, please?
亂曬龍啊！我而家都唔知佢點搞嚇。
嗱，要幾多錢呢邊？
Pour le kilo 40, sur à 235, à 233, 50, à 218, au kilo 585. Kilo 590. On a 10, faites là 10. Vraiment 10, 10.
Parce que même l'UL, ils sont venus à 220,80 après le...
Matty at cellar. Matty at cellar. I'd like to do nothing. Caterpillar. Caterpillar.
Can you hear me?
Ah, capito.
This is Rothschild in London.
Quando lei ha qualche cosa da fare, mi dà un...
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Nothing there. Thank you very much indeed. I can offer you a 5-hour coin.
Okay, that's done. Fine. Well, 10 bars of 15 from Robert.
Bar 70, Sir Martin?
Sharps up at 25.
Sharps up at 25.
Matty what? 30.
Matty 130. We try 160, 80. 160, 80.
Nothing there. I'm 6 at 640.
1.5, 2.5.
Only have 2 bombs.
Only half for it, too.
Too fast. That's more. John and 20.
Show you 10. 5. 8, Bobby.
Show me 1,700. 3.5.
8. We are in balance. We fix at 160.
News of the London price fixing flashes around the world at the speed of light. But some places are slow to get the word. Barbacoas in the southwest corner of Colombia has no newspapers, no radio or television stations. When a new gold price is telegraphed in from Bogota, the town crier takes to the streets.
Señora alcaldesa municipal, apreciada señora, por medio de su himno conducto, nos place informar a los mineros de esta jurisdicción que subió el precio del oro. Grano 34.21, gramo 190.06, onza 5.464.23.
Barbacoas is situated on the Telembi River, where once commercial gold operations thrived. Now the dredges are gone. There's not sufficient gold left to make it a paying proposition for the big companies, but enough remains to be important to the poor people of the region. Families that barely manage to eke out a living by farming try to improve their lot through gold. With the riverbanks all played out, they must trudge through dense jungle in search of places where gold might be found. Pedro Pablo Cortez has found such a place. For nearly 2 years, on and off, he worked to divert a stream so that he would have flowing water where he needed it for mining. With a machete as his only tool, he built a tree bark flume nearly 1 mile long. When he wants to try for gold, he and his family and friends make the connections to send water from the distant stream down to Cortez's special place.
Julia, tráigame el almocabre.
This is not a communal effort. Cortez pays his workers a flat wage, about $2 a day, and he will keep all the gold they may find. Gold rarely comes easily. In wooden pans, they wash the soil again and again, rinsing away the lighter particles in hope of uncovering a few heavy grains of gold. Cortez lives in primitive isolation, a day's journey by canoe from Barbacoas. In his jungle clearing, he sold the gold found this day to a foreign visitor. Later, the buyer weighed the gold and checked the price. Cortez had charged within pennies of that day's price as fixed in London. Gold was sacred in the Indian cultures that flourished before the Europeans invaded South America. One legend tells of sacrificing precious stones and gold to a sacred lake, how each year an Indian chief anointed his body with oil, covered himself with gold dust, and dove from a raft into the waters, washing the gold from his skin. From this religious rite sprang the legend of El Dorado, for the Spaniards heard of it soon after they landed. For 3 centuries, their plunder and conquest were spurred by fantasies of a man made of gold and a lake filled with gold and jewels. Today, in remote mountain regions of Colombia, Guillermo Cano seeks to unearth and preserve golden treasures of ancient Indian civilizations. As a boy, Cano saw his father and grandfather search for gold and other valuables that Indians buried with their dead, perhaps 1,000 years ago. Now owner of galleries that make and sell reproductions of pre-Columbian artwork, Cano calls himself a 3rd-generation Huaquero, gravedigger, and he continues the search. Every month, he drives through the mountains buying gold from newly discovered graves.
No. 3 o 4 gramos. Bueno, siga guaqueando. No. 1,000 pesos le va. Poca alimentación. El trabajo muy duro. Y... En el otro juego le doy desquite. Ya, don Guillermo, ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Many Huaqueros remember Cano's father, and their dealings reflect mutual warmth and respect. Cano says, more than friends, we are like brothers, people who are ready to do anything for each other. They deliver me whatever they have, trusting absolutely in me, and I do the same with them.
¿Cuándo viene Bernardo?
Bernardo viene hoy.
Sí. ¿Y Luis Alfonso?
Pues él dijo que se lo daba 1,000 pesos gramo.
¿Cuántos gramos?
Most Huaqueros are farmers seeking extra income, to buy a car perhaps, or send a child to school. Only a few have ever found enough treasure to become wealthy. Although digging up Indian graves is illegal, the law is almost never enforced, to the despair of archaeologists. In fact, the government licenses a labor union for Huaqueros. Experience and legend indicate the general area where graves might be found. Actual location is pinpointed by taking soil samples. Color and texture of the earth, 1 to 2 feet below the surface, tell the experienced Huaquero whether the soil was ever disturbed, even after 5 centuries or more. Although he never knows how far he'll have to dig, or what he might find, if anything, the Huaquero, according to Guillermo Cano, is spiritually very happy. He lives by hope. He's always searching for something new. He's a man of discovery, always seeking an unknown reality, which might be very beautiful, very valuable. Taking turns with the shovel, they will dig this day for 5 hours.
Oiga, ¿cómo traje el agua?
Some 15 feet down, they encounter the main burial chamber, nearly filled with water.
Tiene una vara, tiene una, 2, 3 y geme de agua.
Kano is called. Although with his father and grandfather he's opened hundreds of graves, he sees each one as a new adventure. Filled with emotion, he takes the first look at a site that's been hidden from human eyes for perhaps 1,000 years. Kano says, you're always keyed up when you're opening a waka. And after you see it, especially in such good condition, preserved by the water, there's a new surge of emotion, a greater passion in discovery. It's something undying. It's in your blood. Many vaqueros take a more practical view of their trade. For them, there is always the possibility of finding the grave of an Indian chief or priest, someone who would have been buried with large gold ornaments. One such piece could bring enough money to support a family for years.
Bonita.
This is a frustrating day for Kano and the others. Along with a few clay pots, only 2 small pieces of gold will be found because water keeps pouring into the burial chamber. Sad and reluctant, they will fill in the hole and call it a day.
Aquí tenemos uno de los trabajos más extraordinarios del indio, que fue la elaboración de estas pequeñas cuentas de collar. Es increíble.
To Guillermo Cano, the greatest challenge is trying to learn how the Indians worked their magic with gold.
Porque para hacer estas pequeñas cuentas de collar hoy día en oro, pues es muy difícil. Es difícil ahora y es más difícil.
Even with the most modern machinery, his workshops cannot duplicate some of the old creations. He asks, how did the Indians melt the gold? How did they centrifuge it? And he goes on, the art, the precision used by the Indians in working these pieces is still an enigma. When I look at this extraordinary work, I feel deeply moved, and I am baffled. We don't know what did really happen throughout all those years, and yet we now can find these art treasures, still wrapped in the mystery of how their creators were able to produce them. Over the years, Cano and his father have sold nearly 200 pounds of gold artwork to the Gold Museum in Bogota, where a proud nation displays the glories of the various Indian cultures that flourished before the Spanish invasion. Although the museum's collection seems vast, most of the Indian gold is gone. By 1550, more than 500,000 pounds had been shipped from the Americas to Spain. Masterpieces had been melted down to pay the debts of a bankrupt monarchy. England's Ben Jonson wrote, "That for which all virtue now is sold, and almost every vice, almighty gold." Gold, noble gold, royal gold, fashioned to please the eye and feed the vanity of emperors and kings. epitome of the goldsmith's art, Benvenuto Cellini's salt cellar, just 10 inches high, chiseled out of solid gold. Gold, symbol of power, of divinity, of immortality. Gold, debasing gold, root of greed, lust, corruption. The duality compounds the mystique, and man's fascination remains, like gold itself, eternal.